Hey everyone, today I'm back for another video, and today's video is going to be a bag review on a bag that I bought just over a year ago now. I think I bought it back in February, and so February of 2019. And so if you've seen obviously the title of this video, you know which bag it is. It is the Chanel Gabrielle Hobo Style in the beige black combination. So as I mentioned, I've had this bag for just over a year now, so I feel that's a fair time to give a bag, like a good bag review, because I know some people often like give bag reviews when they're using the bag for the first time, or like they've just unboxed it. It's like you haven't actually used the bag. And there's like between the first time you see the bag like ever and after using it for a decent amount of time, I think your opinion can change a lot, because usually when you first buy the bag, you have that like honeymoon phase of like, I love this bag, it's the best bag, like this is the best decision, my life has changed, like it's different because of this bag. And like a lot of times that may not be true, like 6 months or a year down the line, or whatever the case may be. So all that to say, I wanted to give a honest review of the Chanel Gabrielle. So if you've seen my recent bag collection video, you'll know that I guess I've talked a little bit about this bag and why I first bought it in the first place. So I bought this, I think it was around February of last year, January, February-ish of last year, 2019. And I was inspired to buy it by Alyssa Lenore. I think that's where I first saw the bag, on her Instagram or on her YouTube or something like that. And I fell in love with the bag because it felt like casual, it felt different, it felt sort of edgy. You can tell I have a little bit of a Chanel collection going on back here, but it's all black and it's all pretty much all flat bags except for my GST back there. So I wanted something a little bit different, and I liked about this bag that this tassel that has it's only part that has the logo on it can easily be flipped to the back. You wouldn't know what the bag was unless you sort of knew Chanel and knew luxury handbags. So that was one of the reasons why I bought it. I thought it would be easy to have sort of an open top entry, and it was overall just a different alternative bag from most of Chanel's previous options. So that's what really attracted me about this bag. I liked the shape, I thought it was cute, I liked the style, and I liked that you could wear it multiple ways. When I first saw the bag, I thought I wanted it in black because every bag I go for is black, but when I went to the store to try it on, they only had the beige in stock at the time. So I tried on the beige, and the beige and black combination, and I actually really liked it. So when I met with the SA, I told him like I wanted a black bag, and he said, sure, like, well, I can put your name down for it. So literally like a couple of days later, it may have been a week, he called me and said that they had a black one in stock. So I rushed to the store, but in that time, like, I tried on the beige a couple times in a couple different boutiques, and I think I'd kind of been falling in love with it at that point. So when I tried on the black, it just sort of felt like it's fine. It didn't make my heart sing. It was really the beige that was starting to make my heart sing, but I thought, no, I wanted the black originally. That was what my heart was set on, so I'm not going to settle. And if I say no to the black bag now, it'll be sold instantly to someone else and it'll be gone, because it was on so many people's wish lists, and when I ordered it, they said like you basically have to be there to buy it right away, otherwise it'll be gone. We have to give it to the next person on the wait list. So I decided to buy the black and take it home, since that was what I originally wanted, and I took it home, tried it on with a bunch of my outfits, and it just felt like, I don't know, it just didn't feel right, and I wasn't sure whether it was the all black combination or whether it was just the bag itself wasn't right for me. Even though I'd really wanted it, it just, for some reason, it wasn't clicking once I actually brought it home. So I mentioned this in my bag collection video as well. I took a bunch of photos and like photoshopped them, not really officially photoshopped. If it was beige and black, I'd make it full black. If it was black, I'd make it beige and black, just to see, like, compare whether it was the color, like, I don't know, whether it was a factor of the color that was unappealing to me. So I sort of realized, like, yeah, I think the black one isn't for me. I'm gonna exchange it for now since you can't return at Chanel anyway. So I took the black bag back. At the time, I realized I also wanted a reissue 225 in the ruthenium hardware, and so I thought like it may be a better idea just to exchange the bag since you can't return at Chanel anyway, for the reissue, since it was something I knew I wanted and I wasn't sure I was sold on the beige and black, or I wasn't sure I was sold on the Gabby anyway. So I went and returned the black Gabby, and of course it sold within like, I don't know, a day or something. I'm sure it was gone right away. And I ended up getting the reissue, and I love the reissue. It's a great bag, so I'll probably do a separate video on that at some point. But back to this, I kept, even though I had the reissue and I was really happy with the reissue, I still kept thinking about the Gabby, especially in the black and beige combination. For some reason, it was still speaking to me. So a couple weeks later, I was like, I guess I need this bag. Like, I actually do like it. It's not just sort of a phase I was going through, even though I tried it with the black and it wasn't for me. I think it was just the color that was wrong. I think it was the beige and black that is going to work for me. So I went back to the store and found the beige and black. They still had some in stock, so I picked it up and brought it home, and I fell in love with it. It was perfect. It was such a nice alternative to all my other black options that I had, so I was really happy to have it at the time. So if we talk about features, I guess I'll do measurements first. So even though I'm Canadian, I prefer to work in inches for this. I don't know why, it just sort of makes more sense to me. So inches across, it's around 7 inches across. This is the small size, by the way. I know Chanel has released a new version that's in between like the large original size and this size. I guess that's called the medium, but this is the smallest size. Okay, so 7 inches across, it's around 6 inches in height, and the width is like 3.5 inches. So I've been showing it with this thing on. It actually doesn't come with a bag. I got this idea from Mel in Melbourne. It's actually a seatbelt cover, and it just seemed the best way to store the bag because the chains are like really sort of obnoxious and get everywhere, and it's hard to store them nicely. So let me just take that off. This is, like I said, it's literally just a seatbelt cover, like a plush one, and it fits perfectly on the top of the bag. So here is the bag with all of the chains. Let me adjust that. So obviously it comes with this leather strap that's part of the chain, and then it has different types of hardware. So there's a shiny silver, there's a ruthenium, and then there's the gold, and here is sort of like a matte brass gold. So I thought that was cool that it mixes all these metals together. The bag is the same on the front as it is on the back, and like I mentioned earlier, with the little tassel, you can flip it like that, or you can flip it to the back of where you're wearing the bag, so it's easy to see, it's easy to hide, like the fact that it's a Chanel bag. Here is the side, and here is the other side. This side has this little tab here. I honestly don't know what it's for. I haven't seen anybody explain about what it's actually for. Maybe it's for like a bag charm or something, but then it's sort of too low, so any bag charm, unless it's really small, will hit the ground when you put it down somewhere. So I don't know, I haven't figured that part out. There obviously is a lot of hardware on the bag. There are no feet on the bag, so just something to take note of. If you do place it down on the ground somewhere, it's going to expose the bottom to that. The top part is like a squishy, soft calfskin leather, and then this is, I think, a box leather. It's really hard. Like, obviously I can knock on it and it's not going to move. So that's interesting. It's also really shiny and sort of soft, and I haven't scratched it, luckily, but I think it would be prone to sort of scratches if you are not very careful with it. Let's take a look inside the bag now. I try to keep the bag very well stuffed, so it's not squishing a lot right now, because I can already see some sort of wrinkling starting to appear on the calf skin part, like the soft calf skin part. Even though it's a small bag, it's not as prone to sagging as the large size. I have noticed a little bit of it, I guess just because it's so soft and there's nothing to keep its structure rigid, especially because the chains are so heavy, it's going to weigh the top down. So just something to be mindful of. So I have a lot of stuff in here. Let me just take that out. And this is the inside of the bag. I love the red interior. I think it's so cute. There are a couple pockets here. So you've got a slip pocket and then a little lipstick pocket here. If you're familiar with Chanel Classic flaps, they always have a little lipstick pocket. There's actually a tassel, I guess. I don't know what you call this, for your keys or something. Even though it's a small bag, they included it, so that's an interesting detail. And it's got, of course, the little lobster clasp so you can hook stuff on it and shove that inside. Honestly, I've never used it. I just haven't had a use for it. And then on the other side, you've got a zip pocket. So I don't really use that either just because it's so small. If you want to keep like cash or cards in there or something, I've just kept the authenticity card in there. But again, I don't really use the pocket because the bag is so small. I just don't feel the need to use all that organization. So now that I've taken everything out of the bag, you can see it is very squishy. The top part just completely squishes, and I could probably, if I wanted to, like put the weight on it and it would just like collapse in itself. But otherwise, like I am putting a little bit of pressure on it, and you can see it's bowing a little bit, but not that much. When I purchased this last year, in early last year, early 2019, it was around 5,000 Canadian. When I look at the resale market, the resale price is more or less around that. Since Chanel has had the price increase I'm sure you've heard of, it's gone up around 8% retail since then. I find that on the resale market, this generally reflects the price that I bought it for, a little bit less. I don't think it has the same sort of lasting, or I guess the same pull as like a classic style flap or a mini or something like that. But the prices seem to be pretty faithful to retail. So if you decide to sell it, it's not like you'll lose that much at this point. I think especially with the price increase, you make it a little bit of a spike. But I think these do tend to sit for a little while on the resale market. Like when I've seen postings, they seem to be there for a little while. So I think the resale market is not as hot for these, unfortunately. Let's take a look at what fits in the bag. This is a mini style bag. I find it fits about as much as the classic flap does. I usually don't carry a lot with me anyway, so I don't have a problem fitting what I need. So here's what I usually carry with me. So we'll start with my Chanel O-Zip wallet. I think that's what it's called. I've had this for a while. I love it. I've been using it constantly. I'm not the type of person to switch up my wallets a lot, so I use it all the time. The next item is my LV key clay in the damier et ben pattern. So when I put that in, I like to slot both of them at the side here since I don't reach for them as much. Next would be my phone. I have the iPhone XS. This is not the Plus model because I find it way too big for me. So I like this size, and it fits in the length of the bag. So even with my wallet and the key clay over there, I can still slot my phone in here, and there's enough space for all three of them to slide in that way. If I'm carrying a bigger bag, I like to use this Louis Vuitton what do you call this thing? Pochette accessoire, the mini pochette accessoire. But since this is a smaller bag, it's not really going to fit, or if I did put it inside, it would basically take up the whole bag and be a waste of space. So I take out the things that I bring with me. So I have a little breath mist. This is a Listerine pocket pack. I bring a lip balm. So I like to use the Jack Black lip balm. Hand sanitizer, which is super important these days, so I either use this or I use like a sort of Bath & Body Works pocket pack. Then hand cream. This is a like Tatcha Gold Spun lip balm, and I just reuse it because I find well, number one, it's less wasteful, so I don't have to keep buying like travel size hand creams. And number two, it's really compact and I can just refill it with whatever hand cream I already have lying around. So this is my hand cream. If I have the room in the bag, then I like to bring this as well. This is just like, it's not a luxury or designer thing. It's just like a little pouch that I use to keep medicines and stuff in. So like Tylenol, Pepto. I've got like little roll-ons as well. So one for, this isn't blue oil, this is Sage's Peppermint Halo. So if I have a headache, I usually like to avoid using Tylenol unless I absolutely need it. And I just use this instead because usually headaches are a result of like muscle problems, or sorry, muscle tension. So this helps to like, or any peppermint oil based roll-on will help to relieve like muscle tension. So this is just my go-to. It helps me usually, and then I can skip the Tylenol. So everything's compact in here and I can fit that as well. And I actually have more room. So that is, if you can see, that is how everything fits, and I actually do have more room. So let's put in my sunglasses. These are my Ray-Ban Wayfarers in the collapsible version, foldable version. I think it does fit with the case on. Kind of does. It's a little bulky, so, but I can easily take it out of the case, and then I still have like, it's very easy to access everything. I can fit everything. It all fits in there. So it actually does fit a lot if you're pretty minimalist when you carry things. That being said, this is actually super heavy right now. I've never realized how heavy it was before. Did I black it? I don't know. This is actually pretty heavy with everything in it. I think this is a pretty heavy bag anyway because of all the chains, and the hard leather probably makes it heavy. But yeah, with everything in it, it's quite heavy for a bag this size. Pros for me would be that it's alternative and it's a different version of a lot of Chanel's other styles. Obviously, the most popular styles being flap style bags. So I like that it's different. I like the bicolor. I think it's really sort of edgy and like really sort of classic Chanel, but it makes it so that you can wear it sort of for more wintry fashions and for more summery fashions. So it can be styled both ways. I like that there are multiple ways to wear it just because you have the multiple straps and they're sort of long and versatile in that way. I also like that it's casual and edgy, and it's, like I said, you can sort of flip the logo around to the other side if you want it to be a little bit more under the radar, or leave it there. So for cons, although I do like the straps because of their versatility, I do find that they can be a little bit annoying. It just makes it a noisy bag, and the straps are insanely long, so it's not easy to just throw on as a crossbody. It is either way too long or really sort of hits high for a crossbody bag, so it looks a little bit weird. I find that the opening is also a little bit annoying. I think this is just a personal preference because I find that I really like flat bags more. It just seems to be what I gravitate towards, or like open top, sort of bigger totes with a top handle. So I find that this is like, I can pretty easily get things in and out of the bag. It's not an issue for me, but this part here, the fact that it doesn't open all the way, is a little bit annoying because then there's things back here that I have to sort of Tetris to get them out, like I have to weave them out. So that's a little bit annoying. I also am not a huge fan of the fact that this is like so smooth. I think it obviously looks cool, it catches the light really well, but it makes me nervous to scratch it. Some other things I've just sort of noticed, maybe it's a little bit of a quality issue. I don't know if I'm the only one that's experiencing it. I haven't seen this in other reviews that people have mentioned, but I find that the threading here seems to come out a lot. I have no clue if you'll be able to catch that on camera. Whenever I've seen it happen, I've always been pretty quick to snip it, but for some reason, like, it seems to be fraying a little bit at the edges here, like I don't even know what you call it, but I just see like little threads coming out of like this section here. And I have no clue why. I've just been trying to maintain it, but I don't know, something I've just noticed. So when it comes to wearing it and modeling shots, this is the way that I most frequently wear it. So let me wear it this way. So this is just simple, like put the two straps together and put them on your shoulder. I find that this can be a little bit annoying because it tends to fling around, but I think that's just like to do with my personal preference because I don't usually wear bags like this. I usually like to wear them crossbody, but this is how I tend to most wear the bag because it's easiest. You can also cross the straps over like this so you get sort of the twisted chain effect, which is really cool when you have the two contrasting metals or mixed metals, and then wear it like that so it's just a little bit like visually different. And obviously it's easy to flip the little logo tassel. I do find it easy to access this way. I can just reach in and grab what I need and then close it back up. So I do personally like to wear it crossbody. I like my crossbodies to sit high anyway, so I don't mind that it's a little bit high. It's just a little bit more secure and it keeps things from like flinging around too much, and it still is easy to access things. But if you're wearing like a thick coat, then this probably will not be a good option. But I do like to wear it this way. And one of the last ways I like to wear it is sort of a modified crossbody. So you can make like a carry handle out of it. So taking this leather strap, I'm going to wrap the bag, wrap the straps until it looks something like this. It's probably easier to put it down first. Let me actually put it down. Okay, so here is how it looks with the sort of crossbody handle. So I've wrapped the chain around 3 times and you can see like it holds it in place then. It's not going to unravel at that point. And then it creates sort of like a top handle here that you can use to carry the bag. So if you're just, it sits at a nice crossbody length now, and if you want to use something to grab it to while you're walking around, then you can use this and use that as a handle to hold the bag with. So this is another way I like to wear it. This makes it a sort of more traditional crossbody length. It also gives like a little bit of, I guess, jewelry to the bag. And you can just do this by crossing the chains one over the other. Usually I find around 3 or 4 times is the magic number to keep it in the right spot and so it doesn't unravel. And you can still access the bag easily, obviously. So yeah, this is just another way I like to wear it. That's an alternative. The way that it's usually advertised is this is the last way you can wear it, with the one strap over one shoulder and the other over another. I'll be honest, I don't like this look that much. I think maybe it's because I have a little bit more of a chest, like it just sort of highlights one like part of my chest really oddly. I don't know, I just don't like it. I think it's kind of weird. I'd rather just wear it as a crossbody, so that's usually what I end up doing instead, and it sits about the same height anyway. So those are just some of the ways that I wear it. I know there are other ways that you can do it. I've seen a lot of people show multiple different ways to wear it on YouTube. One of the interesting ways to do it is wearing it as a backpack. I watched it and I just thought like that's not feasible. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, and it just seems like a lot of work for less payoff because it's hard to get on and get off, and I don't know, unless you really like the look, then go for it. But for me it didn't really make sense. I think it makes more sense as just a crossbody or like a sort of shoulder carry bag. So now for the verdict. I feel like this is the first time I have been reviewing a bag that I don't really have like a clear opinion on the bag, and that could be because every other bag review I've filmed before has always been a bag that I'm looking to get rid of usually, but I have toyed with the idea of selling this bag, but at the same time I don't feel like I want to. I feel like I might regret it down the line, like given bags that or things that I've sold in the past that then I have a renewed interest in. I'm sort of hesitant to do that right now, and I think this is a great alternative to classic flap bags or other Chanel flaps in general, just because it is different. I love that there's multiple ways to wear it. It's edgy, it's casual, it's like you can sort of hide the logos and stuff, so it's a little bit more under the radar. I love that I got it in this beige and black combination, so it can be worn like both for summer and for winter. And I have worn this bag a lot last year. I wore it pretty much every chance I could. So I love it, but at the same time, I've sort of cooled on it and I'm not reaching for it as much as I used to. I don't know if it's sort of oversaturation that I've been seeing it everywhere or what. And I think maybe what it is that I feel like this is a trendy bag, which for me, if you've seen some of my other bag reviews, it's kind of a deal killer for me. Like I really do find I tend to gravitate to more classic shapes and classic bags. So this being so new on the market, I think it was released in like 2015 or 2016, I guess makes me nervous and makes me feel like I don't know that it'll stand the test of time. If it'll be like the boy and be sort of popular and sort of continually popular for season after season, or if it'll be like the Kanban tote and look incredibly dated in a couple years' time. Or will it be like the GST that even though it gets discontinued because it may not be as popular, it's still incredibly popular in the resale market? I don't know. When I look at polls of this item, people either really love it or really hate it. So it's interesting to see how things will turn out for it. But the one thing that does give me hope, I guess hope or solace, is that like Chanel released a box of their classic styles. So it's like a mini version of their classic styles. It's like $28,000, so I'm not buying it, but like it was interesting to see. So they had the classic flap, obviously, the reissue, the boy, and the Gabrielle. Like mini versions of all those bags in that collector's box. So the fact that they see it as a classic is interesting. And yeah, it'll just be interesting to see sort of how this bag fares. Overall, I do like it. I think it's worth trying. I don't know what it is. Something about this bag just seems to tell me that I won't love it forever. Obviously that's just my gut feel right now. That could change. But I feel like I have other bags and it's just not my favorite at the moment. That's the best way I can put this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry this felt like such a wishy-washy review, but I wanted to share my honest thoughts on the bag. I know many people love this bag. Like if you've seen Fashionably Amy's videos recently, she raves about this bag, still loves it, and thinks it's a great purchase. You guys don't know how many times I've tried to film this video. This is just like a train wreck and I can't find the words to express myself today or express my feelings about this bag. But I hope you found this helpful. If nothing else, just to see like what the bag looks like and see how it can be worn and see some of the features of the bag. If you're anything like me and you're obsessed with the bag, you always like to watch every single YouTube video. So if I helped you in that regard, you're welcome. And thank you for watching. As always, stay positive, stay safe, and stay healthy, everyone. Bye.